And through the years, it didn't get easier for me. I think I was around 10 years old, and the bullying started getting physical. And I remember one day, these kids beat me up. I was on the ground, bleeding with a bloody nose. And all the kids laughed. And as they walked off, I picked myself up, brushed myself off. And this time I didn't even go bother getting my books in the dumpster. I was disgusted with myself. I remember just walking home. And like life had left my body, I couldn't feel nothing. I'd had it. And I remember walking into my room and sitting at the corner of my bed. I was fed up with life. And for the first time in my life, I was contemplating suicide. Suicide! And I didn't even know the concept of death. Here I was thinking of it. That's not normal, is it? For a 10-year-old? What should a 10-year-old be thinking? Having fun with friends, going camping, doing sports. But I never had those thoughts. All I wanted to do was just be left alone. But here I was thinking about suicide. And as you could see, I did not succeed. I really can't tell you the reason why. Maybe I was scared. Maybe I just didn't know how to do it. But I thought, if there's a God, maybe He could take my life in my sleep. And again, I prayed that prayer. I can't tell you how many times I prayed that prayer. And the first thing I do is wake up and run to the mirror to see if I was still breathing. To my disappointment, there I was. This little skinny kid with this lopsided head that couldn't stop blinking and jerking his shoulders forward. And then again I thought, maybe there's not a God. Or maybe there's one. He's just telling me to deal with it. And deal with it I did. And the years weren't any good to me either. I really can't tell you what happened during my middle school years, 6th through 8th grade. It's like I blocked it out. And probably there was a good reason why. I just found myself as a freshman in high school. By that time I had grown, gained some weight, and most of all, I stopped that ugly blinking habit. I looked like your typical teenager. My junior year, my counselor, because he knew I had all this energy, but he really didn't know about my situation at the house, he suggested I go out for sports. And I went out for football. And football, I love football. I was a linebacker, and I get to hit guys across the line. And I love that, having that teammate feeling. But my true love was wrestling. How I loved it. Because it was a one-on-one sport. And my concept of the world was me against the world at that time. So I adapted really quickly to wrestling. I remember my first DVL tournament. We had 16 schools participate. And I won Most Valuable Wrestler. They awarded me with this trophy and this medal. And after the meet, the coach came to me and said, "Hey Carlos, I got to pull you aside. Come here, I need to talk to you." I said, "What's up, coach?" He says, "Carlos, did these kids personally do something to you that I need to know about?" I said, "No." "No, really, Carlos? Did they do something bad to you that I need to know about?" I said, "I don't even know these kids." And he said, "Carlos, you got the eye of the tiger." And he patted me on the back and he walked off. I just stood there thinking, the eye of the tiger? Little did he know I had the eye of the abused. Because every time I wrestled, I knew how to channel my emotions, my frustrations, my anger, my hate, my embarrassment on that mat. And I didn't hold back. Beat them. I could have pinned them anytime I wanted to. And they were going to pay for it. I controlled their every move. And the time I got done with them, they'd be so broken down, they'd never step foot on the mat again. I want them to know that I did that. It was probably the only best thing I was ever good at. Wrestling. Well, somehow I graduated my senior year. I really can't tell you how I did it. Because school was the last thing on my mind. I wasn't a dumb kid. When I needed to pass a class, I'd cram for it. But I just didn't have the environment to excel. But I graduated. And I remember that day when they called my name. And I came back and sat down and looked at my diploma. And there I was reading it. And I couldn't believe it. That it had my name on it. And I had accomplished it. And I know what you're thinking. It's not a big accomplishment. But for me it was. You see, I didn't ever think I was going to make 17. And with my suicide tendencies, I don't think that graduation was ever going to come. Since I was a young kid, I tell myself I wanted to graduate. Once I get that diploma, I want to get out of that living hell. That was my goal since I was a kid. And here I was, reading my diploma with my name on it. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And after the ceremonies, all the families rushed the football field. And there I was looking for my family, but nowhere to be found. Who was I kidding? And as these families rushed the football field, they had presents, flowers, balloons, and gifts. And they're hugging their kids. And they're crying tears of happiness because their kids just graduate. And there I was, looking for my parents. Felt like an idiot. I didn't know where to go, where to stand. I'm seeing all this passion, love, and affection. And I knew my family was different. It was very obvious that day. We were very different. These families show love. And it was all around me. I couldn't get it out of my face. They're kissing and hugging. I'm trying to get away from it. But I can't get away from it. They're smearing it in my face. What love, what passion. What affection. Affection from that man? The only thing he ever showed me was a thump on the head, a slap on the face, a punch in the stomach, cigarette butt in my chest, belt across my back. That's the way he showed me he loved me. That's his affection. There I am seeing all this love and passion. I can't get away from it. I didn't know where to turn. I felt like an idiot. Some friends came and got me and made me take some pictures with them and their family. And I stood there with my diploma and my fake smile. But I was breaking inside. I was hurting inside. But one of my friends, knowing a little bit about my situation, His family said they'd take me in until I get situated. And that was the best thing I ever heard. I got my diploma, and now I have a place to stay? Oh my gosh, I was so excited. I didn't even go to Grand Night with my friends. I ran home to get my stuff, diploma and all. And we lived about 4 blocks from school. I ran so fast, I don't even know how I got there. And as I opened the door, there's my dad, sitting there drinking beer, watching TV. I just walked right by him. I knew he saw me. As I get in my room, I just started packing all my bags. And I remember packing them in these brown paper bags. I didn't have a suitcase, but I didn't care. I was going to get out of there. I must have had about 5 bags. And knowing my father was in the living room, my mom was in the kitchen cooking. I walked into the room where my little sister was. She must have been about 5 years old. I laid my bags by the bed, and as she was taking a nap, I gently picked her up from the bed, and I was just looking at her. Not because she's my little sister, but she's one of the prettiest little girl I ever seen. She had these green piercing eyes that would just put you in a trance. Here I am looking at her, sleeping. She looked like my angel. I'd call her my angel. And I'm trying to remember all the good times we had. Or what a good brother would do for his little sister. But I can't think of too many. I probably could have counted them on one hand. I can't remember those good times. I don't remember even getting ice cream for having fun. It's like we lived in a prison. We couldn't have fun there. As I held her, I kissed her on the cheek, and I laid her down on the bed. I think that's what hurt me the most. I couldn't remember having too many good times with her. As I walked out of the room, I could hear my brother down the hall. He must have been 11 years old.